don't have to be on the car when it rains, they can see what's going on.
Time is 7:30. I'll call this meeting of the Yardley Borough Council to order. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Begin this evening with our roll call.
Ms. Thompson? Present. Mr. Ross?
Here.
Mr. Campbell?
Here.
Mr. Curtin?
Present.
Ms. Siegel Morris?
Here.
And Mr. McCann? And Mr. Brand?
Here. With 6 members present, we have a quorum. We're also joined by Mayor Harding this evening. First item is community announcements. Would any member of council like to make an announcement for the good of the public?
Yep, we have the Easter egg hunt on Saturday, April 9th, sponsored by the Parks and Rec Committee. It's at 11 a.m. in Buttonwood Park, and there's 3 different age groups, so encourage you to bring the kids down, grandkids, nieces, nephews, and hunt for some eggs.
Sounds like fun. Any other community announcements? Same offer to the public? Hearing none, we'll move right into public comment. This is the portion of the meeting during which members of the public may address council regarding items that do not appear on the agenda. If you wish to address council regarding an item that does appear on the agenda, you'll be given the opportunity to do so during council's deliberation of that particular business item. Members of the public are asked to please come to our front microphone, state your name and address for the record, and keep comments to 3 minutes in length. Mr. Taylor, I saw your hand.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Taylor, 35 Wickover Lane, New York. And I'm asking that I request the zoning officer be directed to make all zoning decisions in writing, including applications, calculations, drawings, zoning ordinance references, reasoning, and other pertinent information. And this information should be made to the public. Before the last HARB meeting, non-chair of HARB meeting, and historic inspector, I was emailed that the zoning officer does not have to provide written decisions. And so I'm basically saying require him to make written decisions. This isn't just a hard issue. The public in general should be able to obtain this information, how they were arrived at, and the rationale behind it. By having this decision in writing, it ensures compliance with the zoning ordinance. The zoning ordinance, while not perfectly clear, and when a deviation of the ordinance is made, it should be go to the zoning hearing board. Are there any questions for me?
Jerry, just so I understand, is this when something comes before HARB or just in general? Because there's a spectrum, right? Like there's, you have a question like, hey, is this, do I need a fence for my yard or not? Like that's a little different probably than what you're getting at, which is.
Yeah, but even in, fence, it should be, it's permitted, because fences some have setbacks and things like that, height, such as, fences, the proper height as per zoning ordinance, such. You should be looking that up anyway. So he should have all the information in front of him to make a decision, so write it down, that's all. And make it available to the public.
Can I ask a question? So I see here the zoning officer, signed this application.
Right.
Paula forwarded your email about this to me, so I saw it ahead of time, and then there's a line there for additional stipulations and comments. Is that an area where you'd also like more from the zoning officer, or is it more just on the permit itself?
Well, we get a copy of the permit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all we do is get a write-up. We don't see the copy of the actual permit. It just says that it's approved. He could put that information on. It should be on for zoning for general, not just for HARB.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like the public should know.
Do you have, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it because, right, there's clearly a spectrum between somebody calls up and says, hey, I got a question, and you have a phone conversation and it's casual and informal, and at the other end of that is somebody's applying for a permit. So I guess I'm trying to figure out, where do you think that line should be drawn between someone's just calling up to say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, the zoning officer answers questions?
That's not making a decision. It's when he actually approves a permit.
Okay, so it's at the permitting process.
Okay.
Yeah, there's got to be give and take and questions and all that.
That was what my question was getting. Okay.
And sometimes the zoning officer should be saying, hey, I need more information to make a decision.
I like this idea. I think, I'm willing to take this on and look at what other municipalities are doing. Obviously, we don't want our bills to go through the roof, but I think it shouldn't, if he's already making the decision and going through the process, it shouldn't take him too much longer to write a short statement on what the precedent is. But the reason I like it is perhaps a little bit different than what Jerry's proposing, is that, we have had turnover in the zoning officer position, and I think it'll allow us some of that historical precedence between zoning officers. So one can look back and say, oh, he made this decision because of this, she made this decision because of that, and we'd have a little more continuity in our zoning decisions. So I'm liking this idea, but I think we should do a little homework on how we'll scope it and what we'll ask, and maybe talk about it again at our next meeting.
I agree. I think David and I were on the same page, and as long as we've got some room, I think at the permitting process, it does make sense.
And then at the park application, I voted to deny the 19 South Main Street sign application, so I'll just explain my denial. And that should go there, right?
Yeah, we'll come back, when we get to that agenda item, which I imagine will be shortly. Thank you. Is there any other public comment tonight? Yes.
Jonathan Woodring, I live at 14 Van Horn. There was a meeting that many of us were at last, I believe it was Tuesday, as it relates to the ML7 issue, ongoing remediation, continued damage incurred on properties. Since then, that was a week ago, there has been zero communication. We had sent an email as a group asking for documentation of next steps and what was going on. That was not responded to. I ran into Matt at a kids basketball game, and he offered to come by over the weekend and take a look, but there was a storm. So I get, and Carolyn was there, I appreciate the engagement, I really do, and we do as neighbors, we're all neighbors here, appreciate the engagement. We're still craving clarity and accountability for how this is going to work moving forward, and getting into some kind of a communication cadence where we understand that there is a plan. Because I think we had a verbal plan that didn't get followed up on by anybody, as far as we know. When we followed up, it wasn't. So I don't want to show up here every 2 weeks and do this, but we're craving closure, we're craving engagement, and we're craving some sense of engagement from all the parties that we're working towards a solution, and that when we have a meeting like that, it is documented and next steps are clear and owners are clear. I don't know if anyone else has seen any communication other than what we'd sent. Patrick, I don't know if you've seen anything, but we're a week later, and this week's turned into months. And,
I mean, Tyler issued an email out today that included Russ on it. They were going to be out tomorrow to work on the remediation. Today we did issue out a landscape review letter on what they submitted, and we do have Russ on that correspondence as well. So he's included on there. So from our understanding was the ground was saturated, preventing them from doing the work. But we received an email just late this afternoon.
So we talked about this in Public Works just before, and Paula has it on her calendar for 5 business days. She's going to, if we haven't heard from them because we issued our report today, she's going to follow up and say, you've received our report, what's your proposed timeline? And if they don't have one, we will say we would like it completed by X date. We think that worked really well with meeting with them. We didn't hear from them, and we said we're going to be there Monday at 2. You should be there as well. So offering a proposed deadline to push things along. So 5 days from receiving the report, which included the plantings and everything else we talked about, that'll give them enough time to review it. It's lengthy, 10 pages or something, so they need some time to review it, and then we'll follow up in 5 business days.
And when you said X date is like.
I think it depends on the item, so they can plant now. Some of the other items might take 4 weeks or 6 weeks, so we'll come up with.
I think the frost is over, right? It's like
Right.
65, 70 degrees.
I mean, right now they're working on the remediation with the grass at this point of what's out there that we saw. We haven't come to an agreement on what they're proposing from a landscape standpoint. So they need to come back with a response to our comments and an updated plan. Right. And also there should have been correspondence from the owners that went over to ML7 too. when I, you know, when we met.
From Janet's email, yeah.
Yeah, from that, and that, so that should go over to them as well.
On our end, or is what
Yeah.
we sent forwarded to?
No, I have not forwarded that. That should be sent directly, and that's what I, you know, discussed with Russ.
Okay.
Is that-
Russ should be handling your correspondence, and he's been getting stuff from Pat, so he should share that with his clients, so that we don't leave somebody off, because God forbid we leave somebody off and they don't hear about it. This way Russ takes care of everybody he's accounted for.
Yeah, I think with 10 property
Russ
owners.
doesn't represent us, so Russ represents the Solinis, so I'm just, again, it's like,
That's fair. I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would say, that I thought you represented all you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
it took me to be blunt, I didn't misunderstand
No,
my point,
so-
but I think a lot of us did.
Yeah, absolutely, that's
Okay.
what.
because it started with the Solini property, they engaged Russ.
How many separate parties, if we're not all represented by Russ, I mean, how many separate parties do we have here that want to be informed?
I would say all 4 of those homes, Solini, Woodring, Pointer, Buxton, right, that whole row, I think
So there,
is
Russ isn't with all of them. Russ is just the Sleeves.
correct.
All right, then I'll take care of it.
So maybe that's a roll on that, right, if that was a misperception.
Maybe that's it, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, we're,
We don't want to copy the world if we don't have to, but it sounds like we're not copying enough people on correspondence, so.
yeah.
That we can fix.
Thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other public comment tonight? Going once, going twice, I'll close public comment. Next item is consideration of the consent agenda for today, March 15th. We have a number of items which I will list now. Approval of the minutes from our March 1st meeting, approval of the bills list for today, March 15th. We have some event permits, one for the Easter egg hunt, which will take place on April 9th. The permits for Music on Main, the 2022 summer season, and also for the Christmas parade, which will take place on December 3rd. We have 3 certificates of appropriateness, 22-01 for a door at 64 South Main Street, 22-05 for a sign at 19 South Main Street, and 22-06 for siding, roof, and gutters at 195 South Canal. Would any member of council like for an item to be considered separately from the consent agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Just a second. So motion, Ms. Sigal Morris, is there a second? Second, Ms. Thompson. Comments from council? And I know we have a comment, so Mr. Taylor, if you want to comment now on the harb item.
Joe Taylor, South Main Street, Sheriff Park. On 22-05, the sign, it's a lovely sign, it's a good sign, that's not my issue. The thing is that the zoning ordinance states that you're allowed one directly signed or a freestanding sign on a lot. And in this case, there was one directly signed, and there's no other sign that's been there for a year, at least. And reading the ordinance, you're not allowed to have a second freestanding sign. And that's my objection.
Thank you.
Okay?
Just, I know enough to be dangerous about this, but my understanding from when I read this is that there's actually 2 lots, right? And that the sign applies to one in the back, is that?
Okay, that was never presented, other than verbally. A year ago, when they put the addition on, we had a plan that showed 1 lot. And then at Harb, by a cell phone, I'm told that there's now 2 lots. Those 2 lots have been there forever, but it just wasn't shown on the original plan. Nonetheless, the lot in the front is the lot in the front.
Sure.
And the lot's allowed to have 1 sign. If the building in the back, or the property owner in the back wants to share that directly sign with the property owner in the front, I don't have any problem with that. I mean, we have other buildings like Rita Waterhouse and things like that that share 1 directly sign. They don't have separate signs.
Like Yardley Town Center has 1 sign with all the different things listed inside.
So I don't know if this question of ownership is valid because there's 1 lot in front. And we never saw anything with an easement coming up and, 4 foot on the side of that as a part of the rear property. that has never been presented or anything. That's why I want to have more clarity on how these decisions are made. Okay, but that was my reasoning. One property is legal now, one directly signed, and by having a second sign, because against the other thing is that Harbor is supposed to protect the historic character of the borough.
Yep.
And when you have signs, and we have sign garbage jumps, I mean, there's just too many signs on Main Street, you can't see the buildings. And having 2 signs on a property rather than 1 just makes it even worse. But overall, the sign wasn't good,
Yeah, and just to be clear, this was approved by Harvard.
and it was approved by Harbor. So I'm letting you know why I
I got it.
heard it.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Real quick, for the record, just reflect that Mr. McCann joined us at 7:44. And in light of Mr. Taylor's comments, would any member of council like to pull this item from the consent agenda for separate?
Can I just add, I mean, I was at the Hart meeting,
Yeah.
and I mean, Jerry, you know, he's a great advocate and does great work, and certainly his point's legitimate about, you know, sometimes zoning does affect historical decisions, but it's something I think, you know, he raises some valid points, and it's something I know we've talked about as a council, kind of moving forward and looking at zoning and how we do that. So thanks, Jerry, for bringing it up, and I appreciate it going to meetings, and I think, you know, I think everyone hears your point of view.
And thank you for coming to a Harbor meeting. It's so nice to have something besides Harbor.
They're great fun. All right, so hearing no amendments to the motion, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? I'm sorry, we already have a motion. I need a vote. All those in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? All right, motion carries 7-0. All right, next up is a report from our chief of police or stand-in. That was easy. Manager Johnson, do you have a report tonight?
Outdoor dining ordinance has been sent to planning commission to begin their review. Tax collector transition has been seamless. It's like she's been doing this for years. Thank you, Cheryl. Tot Lot has gotten some much needed attention, some new mulch, some repairs to the equipment for the new season. Our mural at the train station has been tagged on the inside. Chief and I investigated. It's nothing vulgar or anything. Once the weather gets warmer, we're going to address it. The mayor put us in contact with somebody from Artists of Yardley who might be interested in assisting the repaint of the mural this year. And that's all.
Do we own the space where the mural is, or we just have it ready to maintain the mural?
Any other questions for Paula? All right. Mr. Klosser, do you have any report tonight?
No report this evening.
Mayor Harding?
No report this evening, thank you.
We're going for that record again. We'll go to council member reports. Begin with Ms. Siegel-Morris.
Nothing to report, but I would like to say that I listened to both Chief and Mayor's radio shows today and while I was working, and I have to say that they were entertaining and informative.
Now you know that bump in the numbers is from.
Please don't ask her which one she liked. But we do want to know.
For next public safety meeting. Mr. Ross.
Public Works met this evening. We discussed all our current projects. Everything's moving along well. The Mary Yardley Bridge should be sent out to bid within the next month or so. Phase 2 of the sidewalk, we got all our approvals back, so we should be sending that out to bid within the month also.
All right, thank you. Mr. Curtin.
General government also met this evening. Focus was talking about year-to-date performance, revenues, reimbursement, budget, and expenses. The good news is we're running ahead of budget on the top line, largely from additional property transfer taxes. And so while we can't extrapolate that's going to continue throughout the rest of the year, we are very far along. It's no surprise with the strength of the real estate market right now in this borough to hitting our assumption and likely exceeding it. So we're going to focus on a couple things. One, coming out of our meeting on April 5th, which will be the brainstorm meeting, even ahead of that, trying to think about how we might fund some of the projects that would be requested or on the table to discuss as improvements for the borough, long-term investment, and then also focusing on usage of some of the money that we received last year and will come this year from the COVID grants, and potentially using those toward some matching grants to multiply their effect.
Thank you. Mr. McCann.
Nothing to report, thank you.
Mr. Campbell.
No report this evening.
Ms. Thompson.
Just a reminder that our brainstorming session is at our next meeting on April 5th. There will be some pre-work for committee chairs that you will be receiving by Friday, so please take, it'll probably take about an hour to complete, so please take some time to do that. And Mayor Harding has agreed to help me moderate, so it's going to be great fun.
All right, thank
That's all I
you.
have.
Does any member of council have an item for general discussion tonight? All right, hearing none, we have one item under other business, which is the vote to advertise bids for Phase 2 of the North Main Street sidewalk. Pat, who wants to give the primer on this?
Yeah, currently we are working on our bid documents, and then we'll be submitting those to the grant agency for their final review. Pending their approval, we are, seeking authorization to advertise those bids in the future. So we're hoping to have this occur prior to the next council meeting, so we have to have this placed on the agenda.
All right, sounds good. So is there a motion to advertise bids for Phase 2 of the North Main Sidewalk project pending the appropriate approvals?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion was made by Mr. Ross, seconded by Ms. Thompson. Any discussion from council? Anything from the public? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. That concludes our agenda business tonight. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, there's definitely a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
You got 5 minutes. Made 5 minutes of it, so.
Must be the chief.
It was an exciting championship basketball.
We're going to get single digits one of these days.
God willing.
And the